everybody. I'm Billy Costa. I am thrilled to be back hosting Landmark's annual Making Waves Stories, Surprises, and Spring Auction. It's always a great time. You people are great every single year. We always manage to raise a ton of money for this incredible Landmark school. And you know what else is great? First of all, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is my 10th year hosting this event. No, please take your seats. A standing ovation, totally not necessary. But you know what? The added value is we all get to come back here to the beautiful Shailin Liu Performance Center in Rockport. And am I making this up? Hands down, the best view, second to none, anywhere in New England. But you know what? I'm actually not at the Shailin Liu Performance Center in Rockport. I'm actually here in the Black Box Theater on the Landmark School campus. And you know what else? All of you, you're not at the Shailin Liu either. You're all home. The comfort of your own homes. You're hanging out with family, with loved ones. You're gearing up for a beautiful night and a lot of fundraising for the Landmark School. So start mixing up some really creative beverages, some creative cocktails, possibly pass some appetizers, some hors d'oeuvres, and get ready for a fabulous night. The good news, leading up to tonight, we've already exceeded our fundraising expectations, so thank you for your support, and also thank you to the sponsors and the event donors. 1 minute in, and we're already off to a great start. I told you right at the top show, you guys are phenomenal, but let's keep it going. And here's how you can actually support. On the left-hand side of your screen, you can browse and bid on some amazing auction items. How about a trip to Scotland? How much are you dying to travel right now? And this trip to Scotland, just minutes from the St. Andrews golf course. So take advantage of that. Also, we've got a great raffle going on. You can buy tickets to win a Peloton bike. Gyms, workouts right now, need I tell you, all the rage. The Peloton bike is one of the hottest things on the planet. And the raffle tickets are only $50. And you can also make an outright donation or support the Fund a Need, which we'll talk about more in the program later. Keep in mind, 100% of the contributions will go back to Landmark School and the important initiatives laid out through the night tonight. We're going to be sending text message reminders and updates. Thank you so much, by the way. Please do not ignore them. You don't want to get outbid on some of these amazing auction items. In fact, maybe I'll just auction off that phone tonight. I'm just saying. Let's get started, shall we? And we begin tonight with a brief glimpse into a Landmark Elementary Middle School student admissions panel. And I can't wait to see what these kids have to say about what they love so much about this amazing school. So, Katie, over to you.
Thank you, Billy. My name is Katie Chu, and I work in Landmark's admission office. I wanted to welcome everyone to our elementary middle school student panel. Tonight, we're going to be hearing from our current students who will candidly answer questions about their experiences here at Landmark School. What do you look forward to about coming to school?
I look forward to coming to Landmark the most because seeing your friends here.
The friends and the teachers are really nice. I most look forward to seeing my friends and teachers, especially when we're in person.
I look forward to most the breaks in between our classes because we get to see our friends and we see our teachers from previous years. We play basketball or football or get interviewed.
Good one. What do you feel like you've grown the most in during your time at Landmark?
I think cursive because I learned all the lowercase and I'm learning the uppercase.
I would say I've grown mostly in reading. I think when I first came to Landmark, I couldn't really read anything. I could only read the and A and to and all those little words. But now I can read really long books with really, really challenging words in it.
At my old school, I didn't really enjoy math, and now I love math.
What is your favorite class and why?
That's hard.
My favorite class is Kids Around the Globe.
Kids Around the Globe is also my favorite. We looked at interesting ways that kids go to school.
I would say my favorite class is.
My favorite class is probably math.
Do you feel like math is taught differently at Landmark than your previous school?
Yeah, like in a really good way, because like they like do these tricks that like make it easier.
Social studies or OE, those are both really good classes for me.
My favorite classes at Landmark are social studies and tutorial and math, because social studies I really like learning about interesting like cultures in different countries and like history in the past. And I like tutorial because you get to like meet your tutorial teacher, and then by the end of the year you know them really well, and it's good to talk to them and they explain everything, and it's a one-on-one class.
My favorite class is either tutorial, social studies, or science. Well, I used to struggle with social studies, but now I'm able to like not. My old school, I was pulled out of the class to go and do like reading or to do math, and so I never really got to learn like stuff like the states and all like the basic things you need to know. So once I came here, I was taught that, or I learned more, and it was easier for me to learn.
What makes Landmark School special?
There's a lot that makes Landmark special, but I would say like one thing that makes it special is the small class sizes. It's easier for the teacher to get to you because there's not as many kids. And also, there's like no one's like judging you if you don't know anything, because we all go at our own pace.
That they have tutorials. The teachers, if I don't understand, they'll like really explain it, so like I do understand.
Are you never doing an assignment that you don't know how to do?
If you are struggling, you don't have to be like afraid to ask a question. I like that about the school.
Students, thank you so much for sharing. That was really wonderful. I'm going to send it back to you, Billy.
Thank you, Katie. Great job. Amazing kids. But then again, it is Landmark School. If you don't mind, I'm having my Mr. Rogers moment right now. But remember when I mentioned earlier in the program supporting Landmark's Fund a Need? Well, listen up, because these next two teachers are about to invite you to participate in this year's Fund a Need. And it may very well be the most timely and most important fundraising initiative we have undertaken. So please, Ariel, Jennifer, tell us more.
Hello. My name is Ariel Martin-Cohn, and I'm the Assistant Academic Dean at the high school.
My name is Jennifer Schley-Johnson, and I am one of the Oral Expression and Literature Department Heads at EMS. In addition, I am proud to serve as one of the 5 co-chairs for Landmark's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, DEI, which represents the high school and elementary middle school and works with faculty and administrators to implement our DEI efforts.
Landmark schools always strive to champion social justice and inclusionary practices throughout our community. More recently, these themes have gained heightened attention within schools, organizations, neighborhoods, and families across the country and the world. I'm proud to be a part of this amazing community that recognizes the need and takes action on these important issues.
Currently, our DEI committee is working for our school as a whole to evaluate and strengthen our efforts in programming, including establishing a plan to help our students and faculty become more informed and invested global citizens.
We want to thank everyone watching tonight, parents, alumni, faculty, students, trustees, and friends for your support and active participation in these critical efforts. Landmark's culture benefits from an engaged community who helps us to reflect, grow, and learn from one another. Now, tonight, during Landmark's first ever virtual Making Waves event, we're asking for your support.
Many strategies for implementing DEI initiatives have come to fruition with little to no cost to the school. It never ceases to amaze us how resourceful our faculty are at creating and adapting programs for our students and their peers.
That said, some of what we aspire to accomplish costs money. And at a time when Landmark School is committing significant financial resources towards health and safety measures, among many other essential areas, funding is limited.
So here is your chance to help. For the next 30 minutes during this Making Waves program, we will run a Fund a Need fundraiser and ask you to help us raise $20,000 to accelerate Landmark's diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives.
That's right, $20,000. We know we can do it. Every single dollar raised through tonight's Fund a Need will be put to work immediately for important programs such as
Faculty professional development, bringing in speakers who are experts in the field to lead us in critical conversations that will inform our work inside and outside the classroom.
faculty engagement, purchasing books for a school-wide summer read and facilitated discussion groups,
Curriculum development that celebrates a wide range of identities while staying true to our mission and remedial program.
student-focused initiatives like affinity groups and experiential learning, in addition to classroom and library resources.
These programs will underscore the commitment Landmark has made to becoming an actively anti-racist community that welcomes learners of all creeds to reach their academic and social potential.
We are grateful to you for supporting this fundraising effort in any amount that you're able. In a moment, Billy Costa will describe how you can donate through the platform.
On behalf of our fellow DEI co-chairs and the entire Landmark faculty and staff, thank you for all that you continue to do to support us.
Now we'll hand it back over to Billy.
Oh, hello. Thank you, Ariel. Thank you, Jennifer. You know, at the top of the show, I told you the programs, the initiatives here at Landmark School were more timely, more important than ever before. And now you know what we're talking about. So we are on this, and I'm hoping you are too. The goal right now is to raise $20,000 in 30 minutes. You've heard of speed dating? Consider this speed giving. Get together, let's all give, and I'm confident we'll raise that $20,000 in less than 30 minutes. Let's go. Okay, so here's how you can show your support for Landmark's DEI program. Click on the item section to the left of your screen. Select the first item that says Fund a Need. It is item number 1. Select your donation amount and add it to your cart. Your donation will directly support Landmark School's DEI initiatives. Next up, I'd like to introduce you to our Spotlight Speaker Series. We have a Landmark senior, Landon, Landmark parent Tom Larco, and Landmark Elementary Middle School faculty member Anna DePerna. Now, you might be wondering, what does a senior in high school, a middle school parent, and a math teacher have in common? Well, it's really quite simple. They all have the gift of Landmark in common. So let's watch as Landon, Tom, and Anna tell us their Why Landmark stories.
Hello, I'm Lan Alpaugh. I'm a senior at Landmark School, and I'm a student advocate. Throughout my time at Landmark, I've learned valuable life skills, but I don't think any skill is as important as learning how to advocate. It is so important that we have a class just to learn to advocate for ourselves and others. And ironically, this class is called Student Advocates. During this class, I have learned about the importance of speaking up for myself in order to get the accommodations and resources I may need in college. It is imperative that we receive these in order to make it a level playing field for us, since we are dyslexic. With this information that we have learned in class, we have made a presentation to show future teachers about the importance of advocating and how to properly teach students with dyslexia and the impact that teachers have on our daily lives. I'm sure my Landmark journey is similar to yours. I remember the feeling of going to school every day and how important it was. I wasn't getting the support I needed. My reading level did not change in the 2 years before I left for Landmark. My parents and I knew that something needed to change. I was not in a setting where I was able to academically succeed. After getting tested midway through my 6th grade year, I was diagnosed with dyslexia. I thought this was a big detriment not only to my academic career, but to my life in general. But, as it turns out, it was the greatest gift I could have ever been given. Because of this diagnosis, we found Landmark. I started my 7th grade year at the elementary middle school campus. Among many challenges, I wasn't used to getting up early in the morning and driving an hour to school because I've always lived close to school. But that was just a minor inconvenience because for the first time in my life, I was able to enjoy learning. After graduating from 8th grade, I continued on to Landmark's high school. For the past 4 years, I have played soccer, basketball, and lacrosse. I've grown as a leader on and off the field. With the help of my teachers and advisors and my dedication, I was able to get back where I should be in reading level, math, and writing. Without Landmark, I'll probably still be reading at a 6th grade reading level and writing level, and also not be able to learn the derivative of 3x cubed. I would also miss out on the valuable and lifelong friendships that I've made here. Landmark has been very beneficial for my social, emotional, and educational development as a student and as a person. Every student I walk by at Landmark would not be where they are without this vital education that should be everywhere.
Hello, my name is Tom Larco. I am the father of Julia Larco, a third-year EMS student in the 6th grade this year. So after a lot of IEP meetings, a lot of conversations, we challenged our town, and we ended up here at the Landmark School. One of the first impacts that we saw with Julia is she was absolutely spent coming out of school prior to landing at Landmark. We could tell it wasn't just mental, but it was physical to her with her double deficit disorder. And she had such a hard time being able to comprehend the room with 20 kids in the room. And I know when Maureen would pick her up from school, she would lash out. She was upset. And we realized it later that just with all the sounds, with her auditory processing disorder and trying to understand what was going on in the classroom, she was trying really hard. And she kept it all in until 3 o'clock and then just let it out. So our afternoons at home were really tough. As that lashing out stopped occurring and lessened over time, we were able to get more family time together, and that was important to us. And that it's not just about the academic side of things, it's also about how Julia is being shaped as a person. And that's helped a lot immensely while we've been here at Landmark. So this campus is really, as soon as you drive in, it's my happy place. We started coming here the summer before Julia's 4th year, and she took the summer camp here. It was head up by Mr. Harris, and he welcomed Julia with open arms. And you noticed right away that all the kids just seemed to be so happy to be here. Now that we've been here for these last 3 years, I don't ever want Julia to leave. Maureen and I know that this is the right place for Julia. It's special. It means a lot to us. We struggled like so many of you did. And once we got here, I feel like once she was accepted into the program, I feel like the worries were a little bit behind us, that everybody here was going to take care of Julia, and she's going to have the teaching and the academics and the services that she needs so that she can succeed in life later on. Absolutely grateful to everybody that I met here in my happy place, from teachers to other parents to some of the students. It's a special place. I knew nothing about Landmark when Julia was struggling at public school, and now I feel like I want to tell my story to everyone. That's why I enjoy wearing the baseball hat. That's why I'll call other people out when I see them out and about. And I'm just really grateful that we found Landmark and Landmark found Julia.
My name is Anna DePerna, and I teach at the elementary middle school. And I was asked to talk about why I'm here. And that immediately brought me back to the time before I was here. I was teaching in an after-school education program in Worcester. And I was approached by an overwhelmed special education teacher who asked if I could help one of my students with his reading after school during our 45 minutes of homework time. And I knew that I had no idea how to teach reading, but I wanted to help, so I gave it a shot. And I was astounded that this 8th grade boy couldn't read basic one-syllable words, and I was not able to help him. That felt terrible. And at the end of the year, he ended up going to high school, and he still didn't have those basic literacy skills, and he wasn't the only one. And that's what brought me to Landmark. So I wanted to learn how to help those students. So my plan was to come to Landmark and learn how to teach. I was going to teach reading and then go back to the public schools and be able to teach those kids with everything I had learned here. So that was the plan. And it's been 18 years and I'm still here. So why am I still here? So there's all these reasons why Landmark is amazing, and everyone who teaches here knows that. We have our students, right? So our students are fantastic. They are smart and engaged, and I think because of the struggles that many of them had before they came here, they are empathetic and kind. We have customized classes that are small, so I can really get to know my students. And then I also know that I'm teaching them what they need to learn, and I can see that learning. And because of that, and because our classes are customized, the students are so motivated and engaged. So I teach middle school with students who are empathic and kind and motivated and engaged, and I know that's not typical of what most middle school teachers would say. So beyond that piece, I also have my coworkers who are super collaborative. We're never competitive, but every single person here, whether it's admin or staff, are supporting each other at all times. And then we have the Landmark families, and I can't even begin to express the emotion I feel when I think of the challenges that they had to get here and the struggles. And then they get here and support and trust us so wholeheartedly. This is a community of kindness and support and love. And I know that sadly, most special education teachers don't get to experience that kind of educational haven. So I clearly love everything about teaching at Landmark, but that's not what's kept me here, because I still feel for all of those kids who aren't here and who aren't able to experience the benefits of a Landmark education. I've stayed at Landmark because training teachers through Landmark Outreach has allowed me to help those kids too. Bob has said that Landmark isn't a school with a mission, it's a mission with a school. And I think many people don't know, but that's actually kind of literal. Obviously, the school is a huge part of what we do, but our mission to enable and empower young people with language-based learning disabilities to meet their educational and social potential goes far beyond the students who are here at any given time. Landmark Outreach provides professional development for teachers and educators all over the world, and we get to share the strategies that we know work. So I'm able to provide them with strategies that are really concrete, they can use right away, our Landmark methodologies. And because of that, my impact on struggling readers is exponential. I'm teaching the teachers and their students, but also their students in years to come. So this is why I'm still here and why I plan to stay. And I want to thank you all for your support that's allowed me to do this work.
Anna, your commitment to your students and students beyond Landmark's campus is truly admirable. So thank you for all that you do, and thank you for sharing your story with us. All right, so let's turn the page, check in on the auction items, see how those are doing. I got to tell you, the heat is on. I'm looking at the Scotland trip. This is a very competitive bid, so let's keep that action going. Also, that pizza party for 10. Remember, summertime is right around the corner, and who knows, things might be loosened up enough to have an actual backyard party and a pizza party for 10. So keep that going as well. We have a wellness package in there, a nutrition and wellness package where you actually get a coach. And need I mention the Quarantine 15? I think we can all use a wellness and nutrition coach right about now. Let's have a little fun. Let's play a game, shall we? So I hear that Landmark School is celebrating its 50th anniversary, if you can imagine that. And I bet there are some great stories to be told. So let's bring back some familiar faces to play Landmark's version of Two Truths and a lie. So I'm going to hand it over to Danny Sirkowski, a Landmark alumni from the class of 2012. And it's great to see how engaged this community is. So Danny, take it away.
Thank you, Billy. My name is Danny Chakowski, class of 2012 and class of 2008 for the elementary middle school. I'm really excited and I'm honored to be here tonight to host Landmark School's Two Truths and a Lie. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to have a virtual meeting and we're going to hear 3 different stories from 3 different Landmark legends. There's going to be one out of the 3 stories that's going to be a lie. Let's welcome our guests to the virtual meeting and have some fun. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Hello, Dan.
I first saw your face, I thought you were Johnny Depp. I thought Landmark really sprung for the big time.
Shh. I was wondering what was growing on his face.
Well, some people are just late bloomers, so,
Yeah.
Well, let me introduce everyone so all the viewers know. We have a great group, people who have really had a great impact on the community of Landmark. First off, we have Mrs. JL, Assistant Dean of Students and Assistant Athletic Director of the middle school. Thanks so much for being here. Matthew Murphy, who is a former Student Life staff member and also Landmark alum, class of 2002.
That's right.
And of course, our beloved former high school faculty members, Mr. and Mrs. Dudley. It's so good to see you guys.
Harry, good to see you wore your best wool shirt today.
Thank you, Matt. Yes.
Mr. Matt Murphy. I would love you to go first.
Great. Well, it's great seeing everybody. My story, I did several trips to Walt Disney World on the senior trip through my tenure at Landmark. And one of my favorite stories involved a group of kids. Well, this group thought it would be a great idea to rent a boat and take the boat and cruise around the bays and the canals at Disney. So everything was great until this group decided they would go swimming over the side of the boat. And I don't know if people know this, but there are sharks, no alligators. You're gonna catch me in my lie. Alligators swimming around in those waters. And one of the monorails going over saw the kids swimming in the water. Well, they called Disney because they thought the boat had tipped over or something and that all the kids had fallen overboard. And so Disney went ahead and shut down all of the canals, all the waterways. There was nobody allowed in the water. Everything was shut down that involved the water. Well, these kids got taken out. They got brought to shore by the, Disney Coast Guard, if you will. And they were told that they were never allowed to rent another boat in Disney again. We, Landmark, had to go forward and from now on say, you are not allowed to rent a boat when going on the senior trip.
Man, I'm not buying that story. If I know Landmark staff,
I wouldn't either.
Is there no check-in? Is there no
There's check-in.
adult supervision throughout the time at Disney?
Those kids are very well supervised.
They were well supervised. Wouldn't have been in the boat.
No.
Touche. Something I was thinking about is, being here in New England, we do tend to have a lot of wildlife. So one day a student walked into the office. She seemed a little concerned and she said, there's a dog and it looks really sick. And I think somebody should look at it. So we said, okay, thanks so much. Back to class you go. And we proceeded to chat in the office. And then the phone started ringing. We had a number of teachers call, the school next door called to say, there's a wild dog, there's a coyote, there's a wolf, everyone's concerned. So Rob Kahn and I walk outside, armed with our best walkie-talkie. Kirk Swanson was in his office, Command Central. We go outside, we take a look, we round the corner from the EMS gym, and there we see a Manchester police officer in his neon jacket, running, taser gun out. We immediately turn around and recognize that the bell for milk break is about to ring. So we radio in to Mr. Swanson to shut the bells off, which he does. And wouldn't you know it, kids start walking out of their classes and we are yelling, "Get back into the class!" That happens. We get kids safely back into class, and wouldn't you know, at the end of the day, we have a teacher who calls up and says, "Hey, did you know there was a wild dog walking around campus all day long?"
I like the fact that nobody knew what the animal was.
Well, we're very focused here, Matt, on, other skills, reading, writing,
No, Mr. and Mrs. Dudley, do you guys want to go next?
Gail and I, we got involved with the Adopt a Highway program. I believe it was in 2006, and it was time to do our final Adopt a Highway. And I was struggling trying to find kids to do it because everyone was preparing for exams. Two wonderful young ladies volunteered to go with me, Bridget Jenkins and Christine Brechtel. Right after lunch, we got on the silly yellow vests and got the pokers and the bags and stuff and headed out down through Pride's Crossing, Beverly Farms, down to the beach, across the road, on the way back. Next to us, probably where that driveway sort of heads, was the Conrad's property. And boy, for 40 odd years or 35 years, they've been calling Landmark saying, "Get your damn kids off our property." So we can't go up there. She said, "But come on, we're graduating. I want to go up there. It's just the three of us. Come on, Mr. Dudley, come on." You guys were kind enough to bail me out for Adopt a Highway. We're doing it. But listen, we get halfway up there and the Conrads call the cops. I'm going to say when the cops come and arrest us, or at least detain us, I'm going to tell them that Christine has an incurable disease and I'm with Make-A-Wish Foundation. And she asked me that her last wish was to see where that driveway goes. So we took off the stupid yellow vests and crawled up through, and sure enough, does eventually get to Landmark. Who was part of that property? But and I was thinking the whole time, oh. And when Bruno hears this,
You're lucky they didn't think you were on parole up there with the sticks and the escapees from the prison or something.
Funny looks when we're walking down 127 with those vests on.
Well, folks, I guess we need to call it there. The answers will be revealed at the end. But in case you were wondering, all of them are actually true. Thanks so much, guys. Really great stories. We appreciate all your help and being part of this. And
Donate.
And donate. Don't forget to donate. Back to you, Billy, to continue the show.
That's some pretty amazing stuff. Now, I don't know about you guys. I assumed every single one of those stories was completely made up. Turns out they were true. So great job, great stories, and some really good history there. So thank you, guys. Now, I want to turn the program over to Thilo Henkes. He's the chair of Landmark's Board of Trustees, and he has a very exciting, a very special announcement about the next 50 years of Landmark and beyond.
Greetings, Landmark community, and thank you for being with us this evening. I'm Thilo Henkes. I'm the chair of the Landmark School's Board of Trustees. As you can see, I'm coming to you today from the Landmark High School's woodworking shop. As an amateur woodworker myself, this is a very special place for me, and all the more so because my son Rowan, who's a 9th grader, is taking Mr. Turnbull's class here in the woodworking studio. Rowan and I spend a lot of time together woodworking in our spare time and on the weekends, but it wasn't always that way. Before we had found Landmark, we would spend a lot of our spare time and weekends working on homework so that Rowan could understand it, or shuffling back and forth from tutorial sessions. But once we found Landmark, the incredible teachers here have helped Rowan reach his full academic potential and have not only changed his life, but changed our family as well. We all share our own personal Landmark narratives. Those narratives are what unite us, put us in Landmark's debt, and I would argue, create an imperative for us to pay it forward for future generations of students. We promised you a number of surprises this evening, and I'm thrilled to share some wonderful news which has been several years in the making here at Landmark. Tonight, we're launching a historic fundraising campaign. This effort celebrates the school's 50-year history and sets the stage for the next 50 years. And most importantly, this campaign will support the people who matter the most here at Landmark, that is, our students and our teachers. Through this campaign, we will be increasing financial aid for students in need, supporting our incredible faculty through expanded resources, and building an endowment which will help sustain the school for generations to come. And now, I'm pleased to present the official launch of the 50 Forward campaign.
My name's Jessup Goldberg Cook. I'm from Western Mass, Northampton, and I graduated in 2020. I think the biggest thing for me coming back is just to see all the teachers that actually changed my life.
My name's Scott Blanchette. I am a language arts teacher here at Landmark School.
My name is Kate Payson. I am the assistant department head in the expressive language program.
After 2 years in public schools, I applied to Landmark, and I realized right away that it was going to be a big time commitment. You know, doing the residential piece, you also sacrifice some things on the salary side, and for me, all of those things have been worth it.
What you're doing matters and hopefully is going to help someone figure out their next step.
Oh, look at this guy. How's it going? Good to see you, man. How are things?
All right, going well. When I saw Mr. Blanchette this morning, it just reminded me all the good memories we had. Felt like we were just friends catching up, which was great.
So what have you been up to? I know you're taking a gap year,
taking
right?
a gap year. I deferred from Bryant,
Yeah.
so I have a spot for next year, so I'll be attending next year.
Jessup, it's so good to see your face.
You too.
Hey, Jessup.
Before Landmark, I saw myself just struggling with anxiety. I have bad ADHD, so it's hard for me to sit still in classrooms. The teachers wouldn't know how to help me, and it wasn't necessarily their fault. It's just they weren't taught, like Landmark teachers, how to assist kids who need more help. I hated reading, but when I read helping kids with dyslexia and learning disabilities, I was like, oh, that's me. I saw the price, and I was like, all right, well, that's not happening, obviously. So then my mom's told me that they're gonna make it work somehow. I got financial aid, we took loans out, and they just worked really hard to make sure that I had a good high school.
I think financial aid plays a really important role for students like Jessup, especially coming from public school where maybe they didn't have the services that we have here at Landmark.
Ms. Pace and Ms. Anastasia taught me hundreds of skills that I will remember and keep with me through my whole life. One of the biggest ones is they taught me how to write a college level essay. And they took a lot of time with me because I needed more help with it.
Yeah, I feel like your senior year was all about you building confidence, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, and you did that.
It's really incredible to see a kid like Jessup who's able to arrive in 11th grade, and in 2 short years, he really thrived. And you could see the difference between 11th grade Jessup and the Jessup who graduated last year.
I think Jessup came here and realized that, you know, with the right support and with, you know, being able to advocate for himself, that he can achieve the thing he wants to achieve.
You know, you can always reach out to us. If you need us.
I will, 100%. I'm very thankful for everybody who give the ability for students like me to attend Landmark. I was here for 2 years, and it was the best 2 years of my life.
An endowment for Landmark is critical because it allows us to provide financial aid and have better support for our faculty.
We have really well-trained teachers. Getting a little bit more support would keep those teachers around.
To be able to say, Landmark is at 50 years, we're strong, we're creative, we're growing, this is almost one of the final opportunities to create sustainability for something I love so much.
You just heard Jessup's Landmark story, which was made possible through financial aid. Now multiply Jessup's story by thousands. Multiply teacher experiences like Mr. Blanchette's and Ms. Payson's by thousands. No doubt parts of their stories are mirrored in your own Landmark story. This is Landmark's legacy and also represents Landmark's future. The 50 Forward campaign has an ambitious goal of $20 million. This is the largest campaign in Landmark school history. Within this goal, we aim to raise $8 million for financial aid, $7 million to support our faculty, and $5 million for our annual fund. That translates to increasing financial aid by 20% so that more students can experience a Landmark education, establishing a permanent endowment for teachers in order to increase their compensation and access to resources, and sustaining our general operating revenue through a robust annual fund program. This is a historic moment for Landmark, and with your help, we know we can reach our goal and impact thousands of students and teachers. I'm pleased to announce that we've already raised $12.5 million towards that $20 million goal. That's over 60%. We have less than halfway to go. I want to thank the donors who've partnered with us to set the foundation for this monumental effort. Your leadership has inspired others and has put us on a path for success. Tonight, I invite you to join me, my fellow members of the board, and other early donors in supporting this effort. Help us light the way for generations of students like Jessup and teachers like Mr. Blanchette and Ms. Payson. Help us change lives.
Pretty amazing stuff when you think of it. 50 years in the can, we move on to another 50. Historic moment tonight, and I'm sure if you're like me, you're feeling excited just to be here to live it. So thank you to TILO. And by the way, the programs TILO was just talking about are launching tonight. Okay, the 50 Forward campaign will secure Landmark sustainability for generations to come. Okay, now, before I turn the virtual microphone over to my good friend and headmaster Bob Brudeau, I want to thank you all for being a part of this tonight. These are crazy times. These are very different times, and I can't thank the staff and the crew and the support team for putting this event together. I can't thank all of you enough. And again, I invite you to show your support and virtually raise your paddle. Support the DEI initiative that Ariel and Jennifer were talking about earlier this evening. You still have time to purchase your raffle ticket or tickets for the Peloton bike and get those auction bids in. Those are going to close at 9 o'clock tonight, and all winners will be communicated to later tonight. And by the way, a quick housekeeping note. Before you sign off for the night, don't forget to check your card and finalize payment for anything that you donated or bid on this evening. Remember, and this is so important, okay, 100% of the money raised, thanks to you folks tonight, goes directly to all of the programs at Landmark School. And for that, we cannot thank you enough. Now, after you hear from Bob, we have a special musical treat by Landmark's high school's vocal production class. And it will prove as yet another example of how talented these kids are. Mr. Brudeau, I would like to take this time to say congratulations on your long-standing, incredible successes and noteworthy tenure as head of Landmark School. It has been a pleasure working with you over the years. And for that, I say good night, Bob, and now over to you.
Wow, what an amazing evening. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as Maida and I did. I'd like to thank everyone who tuned in to watch tonight's program. In a year full of firsts for Landmark, this is our first ever virtual Making Waves, and I'm delighted to see such a great turnout. Inarguably, this has been tough, and we haven't been able to gather and bond in the ways we would have liked. Evenings like tonight remind us what it means to be part of the Landmark family, and I know my spirit has been lifted. From the welcoming faces of our enchanting EMS students to the heartfelt stories from Landon, Mr. Perna, Mr. Larco, to the hilarious tales from our faculty, past and present, we came together and shared wonderful memories that were made here at our little school in Beverly and Manchester, Massachusetts. Not only that, but we were able to raise a substantial amount for the Landmark Fund through our online auction and raffle, and created a new diversity, equity, and inclusion fund. A huge thank you to the Making Waves Planning Committee and all of the donors who supported tonight's event. Your generosity is appreciated by all of us and will help enormously in this very unique year. Thank you to everyone in our community who contributed to tonight's program, and a big thank you to Billy Costa for emceeing again this year. It just wouldn't be Making Waves without you, Billy. I'd like to state publicly that next year's Making Waves is going to be a huge celebration, fingers crossed, back in person. I already have my ask out to Adele to perform. Been trying to figure out how to make that happen for years, and maybe 2022 will be our year. Wherever we are and however we celebrate, I hope to see you all there next year. Before we wrap up for the night, I'll leave you with one final thought. I've been reflecting a lot recently about Landmark School. I keep thinking about the people who have taught and learned here and how many lives have been changed. Tens of thousands over our 50-year history. Tilo Hankes announced earlier this evening that Landmark is embarking on our largest fundraising campaign in the history of the school, a $20 million effort called 50 Forward. This campaign is about supporting our teachers and students in need. It's about building a foundation that will sustain our school far into the future. It's about continuing to be a beacon of hope and a force of change for those who need us. I hope you'll join us in lighting the way for future generations of students and teachers by being part of this important campaign. With that, I'll say goodnight. Thank you for being with us at our first virtual Making Waves, and drive home safely.
I'll be your bridge for troubled water. When you're down, I will carry you like a bridge for troubled water. I will lay me down. When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down. Like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down. When you're down and out, when you're on the street, my lord, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. I'll take your part. Oh, when darkness comes, and pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay down. Like a bridge over troubled water, Sail on, silver girl.
Sail on, silver girl.
Sail on by.
Sail on by.
Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine.
When you're down, I will carry